And we're back with our continued coverage of the criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. I'm not alone. I'm here with Elizabeth Milner, Law and Crimes in-court reporter, who's been there for every moment of the action through all the testimony of Jane today being cross-examined by the defense. Elizabeth, so good to see you. To start it off, let me give you a great comment. We got a viewer question from Sam. I just want you to know I've been watching every day from Oxford, England, 5:30 p.m. my time. I'm glued to these updates, and Elizabeth is absolutely beautiful inside and out. Elizabeth, you get so much love.
Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover the juiciest, most talked about stories straight from Hollywood. Today, we're diving deep into the P. Diddy trial, where things have taken a dramatic turn. From threats to kick him out of the courtroom, to rumors about a juror being dismissed, this trial has it all. So grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's break it all down. Things hit a boiling point when Judge Arun Subramanian gave a serious warning to P. Diddy. The judge pointed out that Diddy had been nodding vigorously at jurors during witness testimony. This behavior, the judge claimed, could potentially influence the jury, and that's a no-go in any trial.
Act when Jane told her not to call her child son. There was a little bit of a tense back and forth there about the father of her child and her child. What was going on there?
Yeah, it seemed that Jane really kind of took offense to Tinny Garagos, and Tinny kind of apologized for this, where she did kind of blurt out your son, and then Jane was kind of like, when you reference my child, can you specifically say my child? And so it seems like this is definitely a touching point when it comes to Jane being on the stand, and even just as far as just kind of the outside noise too, where she seems very kind of protective over the relationship, either with her son specific or her child specifically, or even her child's father, where she was kind of asked a certain question as far as why she moved from the East Coast over to LA. Was she over in the East Coast because she wanted to be near her child's father? And Jane was kind of like, okay, well, what does that have to do with this? And this being obviously the criminal case against Diddy. But it seems like, as far as mentioning just whether or not.
Now, what exactly does nodding vigorously mean in a courtroom setting? Well, from the court footage, it's clear that Diddy wasn't shy about reacting to the testimony. In fact, he seemed to be actively engaging, nodding his head whenever statements were made by witnesses. The problem here? Some people might interpret this as him trying to influence the jurors or even signal his thoughts on the case. The judge's warning was a serious one, and it raises an important question. Was Diddy crossing a line?
Prosecution has made a somewhat better case on the sex trafficking aspect or charges. With respect to the RICO, I think that they are on their way. They've certainly established some predicate offenses that would be required to substantiate the RICO, but I think that they've still got some ways to go. And I personally think that as Jane Doe too, or as Jane Doe is sitting here testifying today, I think that the defense is having some significant wins with respect to her credibility. So I don't think that this is a slam dunk case for the prosecution. I don't think that they've met their burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt as of yet. So we'll see.
Adante?
Alongside this tension, there's been a growing concern about the jury. Rumors spread like wildfire that juror number 6 was being removed from the trial due to bias. But here's the catch. The truth is a little murkier than that. According to Elizabeth Milner, our in-court reporter, while there was indeed a discussion about the juror, no one was actually kicked out.
These are two questions that are very similar for you, Elizabeth. This is from RSS. What's the latest update on the mistrial due to Briana's testimony? And this is also from Blessing Eek. Has the prosecution responded to the defense's request for a mistrial, and what was the judge's ruling? I remember this is all about, they make the claim that she provided false testimony, that she perjured herself about the balcony incident. I think they also made the same allegation about Mia, that she wasn't telling the truth on the stand. They said that this is, biased the jury, prejudiced Sean Combs. What do we know about the latest on that, if anything?
So the judge spoke about it this morning before the jury was brought in, before the witness, Jane, was brought in back to the witness stand. And the judge ruled that the motion was denied because he believes that there was no interference that happened. He was saying that the defense was able to undermine that this alleged incident, that being the balcony incident on the 17th story over at Cassie's condo, that they were able to undermine this alleged incident with the hotel receipt, and that being the receipt that showed that Sean Combs was over in New York.
While the courtroom drama surrounding the jury was brewing, the cross-examination of Briana Bengal, a key witness, was getting intense. The defense went hard, questioning the accuracy of her testimony and whether she was misremembering the events in question. One of the most pivotal moments was when the defense introduced hotel receipts that Diddy had signed during a critical period, challenging the timeline of her story.
During the time that this allegedly happened. And the judge said that this isn't fodder for a mistrial and that the defense can use exhibits to undermine both Bonna's testimony, Cassie's testimony, and in some respects, even Nia's testimony too. But the defense said, okay, well, we didn't know what Bonna was going to say. And then the government, even in their response, wasn't talking specifically about the hotel receipt. And then the judge said, well, Nicole Westmoreland really had a Perry Mason moment during her cross-examination, and that's not grounds for a mistrial because she did have a very effective cross, Nicole Westmoreland did when Bonna was on the stand. And the defense said, well, Cassie said she saw it. There's nothing in the text that says she saw it because they were talking about the exhibits where Cassie texted after the fact, just being like, to Christina Coram, oh, hey, I just heard that this crazy stuff had happened, and that being the alleged, dangling of Bonna over at the top of her condo. And then the defense says that they kind of want to do a nahu or a napu instruction, that Bonna's testimony was perjured. And the government said that Bonna's testimony wasn't perjured. She just could have been confused that the metadata, because we saw the metadata that showed that the photo.
While the defense team is in full swing, it's clear that P. Diddy is not just a passive participant in his trial. As Elizabeth Milner reported, Diddy has been active in his defense, taking notes and visibly reacting to the testimony. At times, he has even nodded in agreement with certain statements made by the defense team. Could this level of engagement come across as an attempt to influence the proceedings, especially with the jury in mind?
The prostitution charge, that's the easiest one. You look at Jane's testimony alone, I think that was enough. I mean, I don't think the jury's going back and saying these sexual episodes didn't happen. The defense isn't even arguing against that. It's, look, and I guess the question is, Alexis, how do they defeat that charge? You could say sex trafficking, is it actually non-consensual? Is it really force, fraud, coercion being used? Is there really a criminal enterprise for racketeering? But transportation to engage in prostitution, Jane's saying that she helped pay for these men to travel, paid them. There's cash being given. Cassie said the same thing about a worker being used in multiple different locations. She was having these freak-offs or these hotel nights, according to Jane, in multiple locations. I don't know how they fight against that one.
As we look ahead, the big question is, what's next for Diddy in this trial? The allegations are serious, and the trial is only getting more complicated. With rumors swirling about juror bias, Diddy's courtroom behavior under scrutiny, and mounting media pressure, it's clear this trial will continue to be a roller coaster. Could Diddy's behavior in court cost him dearly, or will his legal team find a way to turn things around?
In question was taken on September 26th, and the government was like, okay, well, maybe this metadata could have been wrong in this instance because they say sometimes that could happen. But the judge said, well, isn't the innocent explanation to all of this was that this was 9 years ago. Bonna was in her early 20s at this point, that around this time she was taking drugs, and that this photo could have been taken earlier. It could have been taken later, and that the defense already attacked the timing of this incident during their cross-examination. And the defense said, and Alexandra Shapiro is making these arguments on behalf of the defense, where she was saying that the government still isn't bringing up the hotel receipt and that Bonna has motivation to lie because of her civil claims against Sean Combs. And the judge...
Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on all the developments in P. Diddy's trial. What do you think? Was Diddy's nodding behavior innocent, or is he trying to sway the jury? Do you think the juror rumors are true or just media hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take on this high-stakes trial.